southeast shores of the U.S. known as Virginia Beach. The beaches and resorts are all fine and dandy, but it is the people that make this destination so great. Year after year, their smiling faces and heartfelt southern hospitality from everyone, well, almost everyone, embrace the best jet sports racers in the world as they continue their battle for supremacy. It's stop number 2 of the Budweiser Jet Sports Tour from Virginia Beach. We're all mighty glad you can join us. Hello everyone and welcome to the second stop on the IJSBA Budweiser Jet Sports Tour, the West Coast Performance Nationals, co-sponsored by Ford Trucks. Todd Harris with Chuck Kuntz and Larry Rippenkroger. Now the best jet sports racers in the world have once again assembled here in Virginia Beach. Last week, it was young Dustin Farthing who started off the tour in the best way possible, taking the overall win for the day and the lead in the points race for the overall national championship crown at the end of this 10-stop tour, Chuck Kuntz.
You'll notice by the point standings that the Flying Fish, Chris Fischetti, finished second last weekend behind Farthing. Fischetti led the points battle most of last year. The second was also a great start for the new season.
He is on the pole for our first moto. Let's take a look at the course that Glenn Bothwell and the IJSBA staff has for us today.
It's a very simple course. They leave the beach into a left-hand sweeper first turn. Then they enter the split option section where the competitor has the option of taking the outside section or the inside section. They converge on the front straightaway before turning left. This turn and the one on the far right is tricky due to the waves often present on the inside. A simple yet challenging course due to the rough conditions.
We have 2 motos today. The results of both motos will be combined to determine an overall winner for the day. We are set to go in the 785 class. We've got a clean start as a set of waves come in. They all blow through. It looks like Tom Bonacci is off his craft, and that leaves Dustin Farthing on the outside, Chuck, to get the hole shot.
Dustin Farthing really able to hook up, and he's out in front around the sweeper section of the course and heading over to the option side.
So it's young Dustin Farthing out in front while Tom Bonacci still trying to get his craft going again. This is absolutely disastrous for him, but meanwhile, Dustin Farthing out of Hope Sound, Florida, boat number 7, the Reba Yamaha craft, he is absolutely flying, and Tom Bonacci still hasn't got it lit. There he does. Now he's got to find some way to get across traffic, and this puts a whole new meaning on jet sports racing.
Well, I tell you right there, you saw some of the competitors split him going on opposite sides as he was sitting right in the middle of that front straightaway.
But our current leader going into the lap is Dustin Farthing in second place. The Flying Fish, Chris Fischetti on the Fischetti Prep Rocket Ship Racing Sea-Doo. There you see the gap as they head to the backstretch. The course is beautifully laid out for Dustin Farthing, who is very light and very quick. Chuck, does this course favor him?
Well, actually, at about 125 pounds, Farthing is just ideally situated to be able to stay on that boat and keep that pump hooked up in the water. We're going to see that very well right here on this replay. Farthing able to drive that boat straight off the line. You notice he gets almost no air at all. He drives right over that little bitty wave, pumps right back in the water again. He drives away from everybody else and keeps right on going. In this second replay, we're going to get a high-up view, and we're able to see how that wave forms. It's bigger on the left than it is on the right. And right down here in the lower left-hand corner, we can see what happens to Tom Bonacci as he blasts into that wave. He gets washed off the back of the boat. The lanyard pops off. That kills the engine on the boat. We get a great view of it right from Bonacci's POV cam. There he hits the wave. He's off the back of the boat, and the whole rest of the pack goes right on by.
Tom Bonacci, boat number 5, the West Coast Performance Prep Sea-Doo, up and riding once again. Tom out of Brea, California, looking for big things this year as part of that West Coast team. As we go on board the West Coast Performance Sea-Doo, Tom up and riding once again. He's got the boat hooked up, looking very good. But that start, Chuck Kuntz, will cost him.
Well, you can see just how choppy it is out there and how much spray that Sea-Doo throws up as it just goes right into the POV.
Meanwhile, it is still Dustin Farthing out in front. ChrisFichetti's in second. And in third place, it's Chris McCluggage, boat number 4, the Protec Yamaha. Chris Fischetti, second place, boat tuned by his father, Pops Fischetti, looking very good on the Rocket Ship Racing Prep Sea-Doo 300 out of Lake Havasu City, Arizona. The Fish doing quite well at the start of the year, as we said at the beginning of the show, but he is looking for the #1 position, and you can bet he's going to try to dog down Dustin Farthing.
Chris Fischetti, a very tenacious rider, grew up in Redondo Beach, spent all of his time at the ocean surfing, and then as he got into the sport of personal watercraft racing, moved down to San Diego, got lots of practice down there, so he's always been around really rough water. That's why rough water doesn't bother the flying fish.
Another rider who can cross over in flat water as well as rough water, Chris McCluggage out of Naples, Florida, Protec Yamaha boat number 4, Chuck. Here is another guy who can do it on any surface.
Chris McCluggage grew up on the west coast of Florida there in Naples, and he's used to rough conditions too. So again, rough water does not bother the Mac Attack.
Chris McCluggage is in third, Fischetti's in second, but our current leader is Dustin Farthing out of Hobe Sound, Florida. He continues to lead, and we'll be back right after this. The West Coast Performance Nationals are brought to you by Budweiser. Budweiser, the king of beer. Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia, and ESPN's coverage of the 1996 IJSBA Budweiser Jet Sports Tour, the West Coast Performance Nationals, co-sponsored by Ford Trucks. Todd Harris, along with Chuck Kuntz and Larry Rippenkroger, our current leader, Dustin Farthing, out of Hobe Sound, Florida, on board the Reva Yamaha, and Chuck Kuntz. Dustin Farthing got that whole shot, and he is not looking back.
Well, Dustin Farthing just screamed right off of that line, hooked up, moved away from this man, Chris Fischetti, running in second place. Fischetti led the tour last year from round 2 to the very end, where he was finally beaten by Victor Sheldon.
Our current standings look like this. It's Dustin Farthing, Chris Fischetti, Chris McCluggage, Jeff Jacobs in 4th, and Victor Sheldon has now moved into 5th. Chris McCluggage now working on passing. Chris Fischetti not able to get the job done there. They'll both make their way to the backstretch. Chris McCluggage won the first moto of this season down in Savannah, Georgia. Had a disastrous second moto, so he is not the points leader, as you might think. A lot of people, Chuck, coming into this event thought he would be the man to beat.
Well, this is going to be a chaotic year this year, I have a feeling, in the runabout class. I don't think anybody's going to dominate. Take a look back at boat number 1. Victor Sheldon running back in 5th place.
Victor Sheldon, the defending national champion from Vista, California, on board the Kawasaki, Team Kawasaki. Victor had his problems. Stop number 1, you may remember, did not qualify, but Victor is not giving up.
I mean, I have 9 more races, so I never can really feel out of the race, because if I do, then I'm, you know, I might as well not even show up on the weekends. And I mean, right now I feel like I don't feel anything other than I'm way behind, and I got a lot of making up to do, so I'm just going to ride really hard and hopefully come back. You know, I mean, it's capable. I'm capable of doing it.
Capable indeed, as he demonstrated last year, as he came from a whole lot of did not finishes at the beginning of the year, at least to earn some points and pull off a championship. But this year, the major difference, round 1 was a did not qualify, which meant he had no points coming into this weekend.
Another interesting face in the runabout class is Jeff Jacobs, the 5-time national and world champion in the ski division. He brings those titles over here to Team Reva Yamaha, Chuck. The interesting thing is, can he do anything with it?
Well, as a 5-time champion, Jeff definitely knows what to do when he's in a race and how to get himself to the front. It's going to be real interesting to see how well he develops himself in the runabout class this year.
Coming around one more time, Chris Fischetti in 2nd place, Chris McCluggage in 3rd, Jeff Jacobs in 4th, and Victor Sheldon in 5th. Chris Fischetti's boat has been running great today. His father, Pops Fischetti, doing the tuning on that thing, doing quite well.
Pops, an excellent tuner, has really kept fish in the battles for all these years he's been racing. Chris has always been there. But toward the end of the year, the other competitors last year all caught up with whatever it was Pops was doing to make Chris fast, and everybody else was able to finally get him and Victor take the title.
Like a constant migraine headache, Chris McCluggage is right behind the fish, neither gaining nor losing time on him, Chuck. That's got to start to wear on you, especially having Chris McCluggage behind you for the whole race.
Well, we've been keeping an eye on lap times for the first few laps, and nothing has changed. They're running about the same time, but all of a sudden right here, McCluggage has turned up the wick, and he is really putting the pressure on Fischetti. Right there, he caught Fischetti's pump water, and that cavitated out his pump, slowed him down. He's backed up. He's got to start all over again, trying to reel in the fish.
Chris McCluggage, the junkyard dog. Chris Fischetti, the bone that he desperately wants to overtake. And they're both trying to track down Dustin Farthing, who is our current leader and who is having no problems at this time. An interesting side note on Chris McCluggage. Earlier this week, he had a bit of a mishap while out testing one of his crafts, and he says he's not quite up to par today, but definitely he's going to be out there giving it his all. We talked to him before the race started about that incident.
Yeah, this week I was riding, just testing the boat, and didn't wear my helmet, which I usually ride with, and went over the bars of my Raider and cut my head open and got some stitches, and my face swelled up and looked like I was about 500 pounds overweight. And but I'm doing better, and just hopefully everything goes well today.
Riding these fully modified runabouts capable of doing speeds well over 60 miles an hour, a get-off has got to be very painful, as Chris McCluggage found out this week.
This is the final lap of the runabout moto number 1. Dustin Farthing leads, followed by Chris Fischetti and Chris McCluggage. Farthing having no problems whatsoever out here today. A lot of people thought with this rough water and his light weight, his diminutive stature, that he might be tossed around the Atlantic a bit, but he is having no problems at all, Chuck Kuntz.
Well, these brand new hulls Yamaha delivered this team this year are working just perfect, and he's living up to his nickname, the Micro Missile. He's keeping that boat hooked up and just blasting down the backside of the race course.
Dustin Farthing showing quite a bit of talent, able to tackle probably the toughest course on the tour this year here at Virginia Beach with that swell coming in. It's easy to stay on the flat water, but Dustin showing his savvy out here today on the rough Atlantic Ocean.
Last year, Dustin was Rookie of the Year in this class. He's showing why. He's coming down, the checkered flag out. Dustin Farthing taking the win in moto number 1.
And here we have a drive by Chris McCluggage trying to get around Chris Fischetti. Not enough time to do it, so Fischetti will take second place. McCluggage will have to settle for third. And in fourth place, it's Jeff Jacobs. In fifth, Victor Sheldon. When we come back to Virginia Beach, we'll talk to our winner right after this. Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia. Stop number 2 of the 1996 IJSBA Budweiser Jet Sports Tour, the West Coast Performance Nationals, co-sponsored by Ford Trucks. Todd Harris along with Larry Rippenkroger and Chuck Kuntz. Moments ago, it was Dustin Farthing, the Micro Missile, winning moto number 1. Let's go to Larry Rippenkroger.
Thanks, Todd. Well, Dustin, you had trouble in qualifying, but then it comes time for moto number 1, and you make believers out of everybody.
Yeah, we had some motor troubles. You know, nothing you can't handle. We had to ride the backup boat, and you know, came in here and we hole shotted. Reva's got the boats flying this year, and we pulled a good hole shot to the end.
Compare the backup boat to the race boat that you would hope to use. What kind of differences are there?
They're the same motor. It's just you know, different. You know, I like one hull better than the other, and you know, I'm so used to I rode my other boat last weekend, and I rode the other boat in the whole World Cup, and that's the boat I'm used to. And this is the first time I've ever raced that hull, and you know, it's worked pretty good, obviously.
Well, great job out there. On the backup boat, winner of moto number 1, Dustin Farthing. Back to you, Todd.
Thank you, Larry Rippenkroger, and congratulations to Dustin Farthing. While the riders are getting ready for the second moto, let's take a look back at what happened earlier today in the freestyle competition.
The water conditions provided small surf, which turned the competition into an aerial show. In freestyle competition, each rider is given 2 minutes to try and impress 7 judges. Within those 2 minutes, the judges are looking for 3 things: variety, execution, and difficulty of each maneuver. The world champion Mark Sickling finished a disappointing 5th to Eric Malone of Duncansville, Pennsylvania, who took 4th place. Eric is a new face on the tour this year and proving to be a rookie threat. He's riding for RPG Boswell and Keystone Kawasaki Yamaha.
Riding for Solus and AC Racing, Ken Wood is starting out the 96 tour with high hopes. Ken's hunger for the number 1 spot is easy to see in his exciting new routine. He finished in 3rd.
Mr. Theatrical Showtime, Lloyd Burlew put on another show the crowd would not forget. Lloyd's ability to maneuver his ski gracefully and still involve the crowd seems to electrify his routine and help secure a great second place finish, missing first place by only 0.2 of a point. Lloyd worked the crowd on the water and the beach.
Rick Roy went from water to air to capture first place in today's freestyle competition. During his great routine, he even found time to work in a new move. Congratulations to Canadian Rick Roy.
Thanks very much. Today the wave were there, and I took some gas. I got a new move today, the barrel roll, but coming to the beach from the back of the wave. And I took a gas because the wave was real small, and I did it yesterday, but with bigger wave. And I took a gas, and I landed like in 6 inches of water. But I did it, and that was helped me a lot for the score.
After today's freestyle competition, the standings for the tour look like this. It's Burlew out in front with Roy and Sickerling tied for second. Then it's Ken Wood and Eric Malone. Final preparations are being made down in the pits for Moto number 2 in the runabout class. For more on that, let's go down to Larry Rippenkroger.
Thanks, Todd. Well, I've been snooping around here in the Kawasaki pits, and I found some interesting changes that they've made for the course this weekend. Normally, the Kawasaki boats are set up to handle very quickly in the turns, but that can actually be detrimental when you've got rough conditions like we have here today. So what they've done to counter that, they've added these aluminum stabilizers on the back of the hull. And what this effectively does is lengthens the entire bottom of the hull. And at high speed, you've only got a couple of feet that ride in the water, so just an inch and a half back here makes a huge difference. It does slow the cornering down a little bit, but they feel that the trade-off is well worth it when you've got rough water conditions like we have here this weekend.
Thank you, Larry, and well done. Now, that's a lesson to any of you young riders out there. If you want to keep anything a secret, don't let Larry Rippenkroger into your pit area. When we come back, we'll have Moto number 2. Stay with us. We are back to Virginia Beach, Virginia, and the second stop of the Budweiser Jet Sports Tour. This is Moto number 2, the runabout class. Our winner of Moto number 1, Dustin Farthing, aboard the Riva Yamaha. The stage is set, the rubber band is snapped, and they are off. And Chuck, what perfect timing. The waves come in, and the folks on the crowd get a show.
Well, this time the whole line had what looked like an equal wave as they all had to hit the same one. Fischetti grabs that hole shot. Farthing drops in right behind him, and Victor Sheldon was up there doing a little bumping and banging, trying to get Farthing out of the way and move up to second place.
So it is Chris Fischetti getting the hole shot this time, boat number 300, the Fischetti Rocket Ship Racing Prep Sea-Doo. Dustin Farthing goes to the outside this time. Clean water there, but it doesn't pay off. He has to settle for second spot as we go into the green flag lap.
Fischetti has really opened it up, just like Dustin did in Moto number 1. However, back for third place, a real battle is starting to take form.
And Victor Sheldon is leading that charge in the second group. And if we go aboard Tom Bonacci's boat, you get a look at what Bonacci's seen. There's Victor Sheldon right in front of him, and Tom Bonacci trying to inch even closer.
Bonacci coming up on the inside of Victor Sheldon as they work their way down this straight section of the course, come into the two tight left-hand turns, and Tom Bonacci takes over third place. Bonacci's engine builder, Kel Crothers, a legend in the motorcycle industry, has made his way over to the West Coast team, and they're pinning their hopes that Kel Crothers is going to bring a championship to West Coast.
Kel Crothers doing a great job with Tom Bonacci. Meanwhile, it's Fischetti and Farthing waging their own battle. Fischetti trying to hold off Farthing, and Farthing looking for some of that same magic that Bonacci was able to get when he passed Victor Sheldon. As we go back to the start of Moto number 2, Chris Fischetti got a great jump off the line, and that led to the hole shot, and that put him where he is right now in first place with Dustin Farthing trying to track him down, Chuck Kuntz.
Well, we're going to use a reverse angle here, and you're going to see Fischetti right there, but he pre-jumps the wave. What I mean by that is he starts the lift motion of the boat before the wave gets there. He's able to skim right over the top, keep that pump hooked up. It drops right back in the water faster than anybody else because they've actually jumped the face of the wave. Fischetti's hooked up and running away.
I know it looks great to see them catch a lot of air, but the longer you're in the air, the less time you're going forward.
That's right, Todd. Less is more in this case. You stay in the air, less time gives you more drive forward. That's what hurt the other competitors, and Fischetti's gone.
Chris Fischetti, a lot of wave knowledge, as we touched on earlier. He was doing a great job out there right now. The fish, as we said, now living in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, but he spent a lot of time at the beach growing up. His dad, Pops Fischetti, doing all the wrenching on his boat, and today, Chuck Kuntz, they've got it dialed in.
Pops Fischetti got that boat flying, Rocket Ship Racing Sea-Doo right out in front. Fischetti wants this Moto 2 win to give him the overall for the day, and my calculations show that would put him in a virtual tie at the top of the leaderboard with Dustin Farthing if he can pull out the overall.
Young Dustin Farthing giving a good tail to Chris Fischetti, one of the best personal watercraft racers anywhere in the world. Dustin Farthing, Chuck, having a very busy day in some very choppy conditions.
Well, right at this section of the course is a real little tricky part. They dip down inside, then they have to make a fast left-hand turn, and it seems to be right at a break point for the waves. So actually, they're making a turn right into a face of a wave almost immediately.
Dustin Farthing having a very busy day racing in the runabout class as well as the sport class. While we have a moment, let's go back and have a look at the sport class highlights.
Dustin Farthing grabs that hole shot, taking over just where he left off in Savannah, Georgia.
While Dustin Farthing was out in front, a new member of the class, Nicholas Rios, died in lap 3 after showing some promise he would not finish the race.
But last year's sport champ Chris Fischetti raced hard to claim a third-place finish.
In Moto number 2, again, a deja vu. It was Dustin Farthing grabbing the hole shot with McCluggage and Bonacci right behind.
But disaster struck McCluggage on lap number 7 as he lost his second-place spot. climbs back on the boat, gets it refired, rolls off the boat, gets back up, and battles his way back through the pack to claim a 6th-place finish.
But in the end, it was all the micro missile Dustin Farthing from Hope Sound, Florida, on board the Riva Yamaha Prep boat, taking yet another victory. He goes to a perfect 4-0 in sport class racing. Back to our runabout competition, but right now Dustin Farthing finds himself in 2nd place behind Chris Fischetti in the runabout class, and I know he'd desperately like to get that 1st place finish.
He sure would, and things haven't changed much. Their times are almost identical on the race course. Neither one seems to be gaining any advantage over the other, and Dustin working real hard just to stay with the flying fish.
Meanwhile, it's the bomber, Tom Bonacci. He had a disastrous first moto, coming back strong here in 3rd place in the 2nd moto. Bill Pointer on your left side of your screen, Victor Shelton on the right, and he launches past his teammate Bill Pointer Jr. to claim 4th place.
Well, we talked earlier about less being more as far as getting air. That time, Victor made more work as he had that inside line. When he came down, Pointer had nowhere to go, had to stay to that outside line. Victor able to make the turn and pull away.
While Victor Sheldon puts on an air show for 4th place, Chris Fischetti continues to lead the pack. No boat problems whatsoever. That has happened to Fish in the past. He's led a race, and on the last lap or so had boat problems today. Flawless.
For Dustin Farthing, it's time to roll the dice. Chris Fischetti goes to the inside. Farthing takes the outside line. He's got to let it hang out. It's now or never to try to pick up this win for Dustin Farthing.
The white flag is out, and Chris Fischetti will do like he did on the green flag lap, lead the pack into the final lap of the day with Dustin Farthing right behind him. And as you said, Chuck, Dustin Farthing has got to take a chance. He's hoping to roll the dice on the split or some pass, or hope that Fischetti makes a mistake and he can come up with Yahtzee.
Well, they've only got one more opportunity for the split section to come up, and Dustin to be able to use that to his advantage. Right now, he's just got to lay the pressure on all he can to Chris Fischetti. Get Fischetti to start thinking, is he coming inside? Is he going outside? Where's it going to happen? Now's the time for Farthing.
But if you're Chris Fischetti, do you change anything that you've done thus far? It seems like for the last 9-10 laps, everything's worked perfect.
Hey, it's the old adage, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. It's been working for him so far. Here they go through the split section course one more time. Fischetti the inside, Farthing to the outside. The final turn, the dash to the checkered flag, and Chris Fischetti takes the moto win.
So a sweet victory for Chris Fischetti out of Lake Havasu City, Arizona, on board the Fischetti's rocket ship racing prep Sea-Doo. When we come back, we will talk with our winners. Stay with us. The Budweiser Jet Sports Tour is brought to you by West Coast Performance Products, better by design. Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia. Stop number 2 of the Budweiser Jet Sports Tour here on ESPN. Moments ago, it was the Flying Fish taking home the Moto 2 win, and by virtue of that win, he picks up the overall for the day. Let's go down to Larry Rippenkroger.
Thanks, Todd. Here with Chris Fischetti and crew. 2nd round last year you won, and you did it again this year.
Yes, bigger victory. First in the last moto gave me the overall. My Sea-Doo XP worked excellent, and hopefully we'll be able to continue on and win the overall national championship this season.
Well, Pops has obviously been working very hard. A lot of homework has gone into this race, and it paid off here today. To the winner goes the spoils. As you can see, Chris Fischetti enjoying that here today. Back to you, Todd.
So that concludes stop number 2, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Congratulations to Chris the Flying Fish Fischetti on his overall win. Our next stop, Dallas, Texas. Check your local listings. For Larry Rippenkroger, I'm Todd Harris. We'll see you next time right here on ESPN.